As we go forward, I do want to apologize. I know I'm sounding a bit nasally today, so I apologize for that. This next portion of the digestive system is the small intestine. It is located in the central and lower abdomen, and it functions as a major organ of digestion and is where most of the food is digested, absorbed. The walls secrete digestive enzymes important for the final stage of the chemical digestion and hormones that stimulate pancreas and gallbladder to act and control the stomach activity. Secretin is one of the hormones that stimulates the pancreas. There are three areas or regions of the small intestine: the duodenum, which is located near the head or the pancreas. The stomach contents are neutralized and most absorption will take place in that first region of the small intestine. So like I said before, duodenum is the correct pronunciation, but I always think of in my head duodenum to help me spell it. The jejunum is the middle section, and the ileum is the terminal end which attaches to the small intestine at the ileocecal valve. So here we have the pylorus region, the pyloric sphincter coming into the duodenum. So the duodenum is the first part, the jejunum is the middle part of the intestine, and then the ileum is the lower part that then comes and connects to the large intestine. This area of the large intestine is known as the cecum, which is why that sphincter is known as the ileocecal valve. This little piece right here is actually an appendix that comes off of the cecum. Now in digestion, the pyloric valve is important. It allows the small portions of the chyme to enter into the duodenum, and the small intestine can process only a little bit of the food at a time. The pancreas and gallbladder also add secretions. Bile is released from the gallbladder, and then pancreatic juices are released from the pancreas. Cholecystokine, or CCK, is secreted by small intestine to stimulate the gallbladder activity. Digestive enzymes need to complete the chemical digestion to finish the whole process for absorption, and this is produced by an exocrine cell. Chemicals such as lactulase, maltase, and sucrase are needed to digest double sugars. Those are called disaccharides. Internal lipase is needed to break down certain fats. Bile, which is stored in the gallbladder, helps to emulsify the fat, making the fat disperse into water. Pancreatic juice contains sodium bicarbonate, which will neutralize the acidic chyme. You have sodium bicarbonate in your kitchen cabinet at home. It's known as baking soda. Muscular actions of digestion in the intestines occurs in two ways. Segmentation causes a mixing of the chyme and digestive juices like a cement mixer, similar to what happens in the stomach, and then peristalsis will move the food toward the large intestine. The small intestine has capillaries that absorb and transport the sugars from the carbohydrate digestion and amino acids from the protein digestion to the liver for further processing before being sent throughout the body as nutrients. Glycerol and fatty acids that come from the fat digestion are absorbed in the villi and converted into lipoproteins. They travel onto the lacteal, which is now a white milky substance called chyle. Chyle goes directly into the lymphatic system for distribution throughout the body. One of the processes, or the vital process, of digestion is absorption. In absorption, 20% of the usable nutrients are absorbed in the stomach, where 80% of the absorption of the usable nutrients occurs when chyme comes in contact with the mucosal walls of the small intestine. Amino acids, fatty acids, simple sugars, vitamins, and water are all absorbed in that small intestine. Any residue that is not utilized in the small intestine is sent to the large intestine for removal from the body. The large intestine, beginning at the junction with the small intestine, the ileocecal orifice or ileocecal valve, it extends to the anus as the large intestine bordering around the small intestine. The functions of the large intestine include water absorption, absorption of vitamins produced by normal bacteria in the large intestine, and packaging and compacting waste products for elimination from the body. There are no villi in the large intestine, so little nutrient absorption occurs here. So here we have the large intestine. So we have that ileocecal valve or ileocecal sphincter where the ileum is connected to the large intestine. This first area is called the cecum. And as I said, there's the veriform appendix. The food will travel from the small intestine into the large intestine at the cecum. It will then go up the ascending colon, come across the transverse colon, and then come down the descending colon. The last segment of the large intestine is known as the sigmoid colon, and that's this area here. And the word sigmoid means S shape, so it's kind of shaped like an S. Lastly is the rectum and then the anal canal. There is an anal sphincter that controls the ability of the waste to exit the body. So, as I just said, the three main regions, you have the cecum, the colon, and the rectum. The pouch-shaped structure is the cecum, which receives the undigested food and water from the ileum. Some of the water used in digestion and electrolytes reabsorbed in the cecum and the ascending colon. Water is reabsorbed is in a small amount, but essential to maintaining normal fluid balance. The appendix, which is attached to the cecum, is approximately 3 inches long. It's slender, hollow. It's a dead-ended tube lined with lymphatic tissue. We have no known purpose for the appendix, but if it becomes blocked or inflamed, can cause appendicitis and may be treated with either antibiotics or surgical removal. The large intestine, the second area is known as the colon, and the colon has 4 segments: the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and the sigmoid. The ascending colon travels up to the right side of the body to the level of the liver. The transverse colon travels across the abdomen just below the liver and stomach, and the descending colon bends downward toward the spleen, near the spleen, and travels to the left side, becoming the sigmoid colon, which is that S-shaped region that extends to the rectum. The rectum opens into the anal canal that can lead to the anus, and the anal sphincter opens and closes to allow passage of the solid waste, which is known as feces. Within the large intestine, peristalsis continues, but at a much slower rate. As slower intermittent waves move the fecal matter towards the rectum, water is removed, turning it from a watery, soupy substance to a semi-solid mass. As the rectum fills with feces, defecation reflex occurs, which results in rectal muscles to contract and the anal sphincter to relax. If fecal matter moves through too rapidly, not enough water is removed, and diarrhea will occur. Conversely, if the fecal matter remains too long in the large intestine, too much water is removed and constipation can occur. Bacteria in the bowel play 2 important roles. One is to help break down indigestible matter, and the other is to produce vitamin B complex vitamins and most of the vitamin K needed for proper blood clotting. Now, sometimes there's a reason for a removal of a section of a colon, and that's called colostomy. And some of the sites for colostomy include the sigmoid, the descending, a transverse, an ascending, a cecostomy, or an ileostomy. So if someone has a damaged part of their intestine due to polyps or cancer or muscle paralysis, they may have a colostomy. So they will cut a section. A stoma is an opening, and at that point they would attach a colostomy bag, and then they would have an area of the colon that is not functioning. So this would be attached to an external source.